Hey guys, we're going to be working on monochromatic today. So we're going to start off by looking at and thinking about what monochromatic is. Monochromatic is one color plus black and white. So you're just going to, whenever you get your palette, you're just going to get black and white in one color. The reason why I don't call black and white colors is because they're called neutrals, and they will affect this color in various ways. Like this person chose black, white, and red. Because they added white and because their middle tones are like this, they got pink. So you have to think about how your black and your white's going to affect your color when choosing which color you want to do, okay? So, monochromatic, one color paintings. So what we're going to start off by doing is we are going to pick from the booklet of different pictures you can do. So what you want to do is start off with your picture. Your picture is going to be 5 by 7, and you want to grid it off 1-inch squares. Do not forget that whenever you're gridding, because it's been a second since we have gridded, you're going to do 1-inch sections. So measure out 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. So just make sure you're measuring across, and then just bring your ruler down. Don't flip it around. Don't flip your paper. Don't do anything like that. Just bring your ruler down and do the bottom. Because a lot of times whenever people flip their papers over or do something funky with their ruler, they will get an inaccurate measurement, because if you start your ruler this way, it's going to get a different measurement, believe it or not. So you want to just bring it down from the top and measure 1-inch sections the same way. The reason why you want to do the top and the bottom is because you want perfectly straight lines. You don't want crooked lines, because if you don't measure down here across from your other measurement, you're not going to get a straight line. You may think you are, but whenever you look at it from the distance after you're done, it's going to look crooked, okay? So do that vertically and horizontally on your paper, 1-inch sections. Once you get that done, you're going to get a big sheet of paper, and you're going to do 3-inch sections on the big sheet of paper. Now, because my paper cutter doesn't cut to 21 inches, which is what you're going to get, this is a 5 by 7, so 7 times 3 is 21. You're going to have to cut off one of these bottom ones. So down here, just to know, you're going to have to hand cut this one because my paper cutter doesn't do that. So you're going to get a large ruler, you're going to get a yardstick. I have them up in the front with me. And you're going to measure out 3 inches, just the same way you did 1 inches down here, but you're going to measure 3, 6, 9, make a mark at 3, 6, and 9, keep going every 3 inches, and you're going to get the same dimensions as you would here. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. You have 7 boxes across here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes vertical. So 5 by 7, just bigger. So I started drawing this one, and I did this a very specific way because I wanted you guys to see that you need to be looking constantly back and forth at your picture. A lot of problems people have with the grid method or getting down drawing or anything like that is they'll put their picture to the side and they'll just look at the picture. They're like, I don't really need these grid lines. I'm just doing it because she asked me to. They're there to help you. So whenever I actually started from the top and worked to the bottom. And I thought 1, 2, 3. And then here's my third square over, and I made this section right here. If you are looking at something like this and you're like, I don't think I can make that round section to it, that top, that oval, just take it 1 square at a time and it'll turn out for you. And I didn't erase anything off my picture because I wanted to show you guys that there is trial and error to this. Like I started over here with this one and then I brought it in a little bit. I had some confusion right there. So you're gonna have some trial and error. If you look back and forth at your picture, you should be able to tell, like, I need to pull this in a little bit. I need to make this come in or come out or anything like that. If you look back and forth at your picture, you're gonna correct yourself as you go. So don't feel daunted by a picture. Do a picture you like to do, because especially since it's so big, you're going to be spending a little while on it. And then just take it 1 square at a time, especially because the squares are really big. That'll help you a lot to be able to get detail and be able to take your time in getting a shape down. So I didn't do a whole lot of detail with this. I didn't finish the drawing because I kind of want to just go ahead and get into the painting with you guys. If I was to finish this drawing and make sure I had all the details, think about value spaces if you want to. Like I made sure to at least start my shadow down here, but you're going to think about value changes whenever you come up here. You can either go from the lightest to dark or darkest to light. I'm going to do darkest to light because it's easier, because I'm going to take this section right here and do it today. So I'm going to take darkest to lightest, but sometimes what you want to do is go lightest to darkest, especially whenever you're working with paint. I would suggest going lightest to darkest. So after you get the whole thing drawn out, you're gonna go ahead and erase any lines that are in light areas. Like this back here is gonna be lighter, it won't be white, but it'll be lighter. So I'm gonna take my eraser, and I'm gonna erase those parts. You do not have to erase the parts that are gonna be dark because you're just gonna cover them up with paint, but the paint might be a little bit more translucent and you'd see your lines where the white spaces are. So kind of erase those lines, go around, take your time. Make sure your drawing's the way you want it to be before you start painting. I'm just doing this for time's sake. So like I said, you want to choose one color and black and white. Think about a couple of different things whenever you're choosing your color. You're going to choose a color that matches your picture a little bit. Like I thought about blue because yellow would have been the obvious choice for a light bulb, but I thought about the fact that yellow is really transparent. It's gonna turn a muddy green whenever I do this. So if you want like a greener picture, because black is not black, it actually is colors mixed together, so you're gonna get a little bit of blue tint with your black. You're gonna get some of that green in there. So just know that whenever you're working with yellow, plus it's very translucent. If you wanted a solid yellow space, you're gonna have to work with it a little bit. And sometimes it's really worth it. It makes a picture look fantastic, and sometimes it's just not worth that little extra effort. So I wanted to go ahead and do with blue because I wanted to do a cool toned piece. And like I said, I'm working with my dark tones first. So I'm just gonna take black and put it where my dark tone is. You do not need a lot of black. In fact, that's enough black for about 3 people actually. So I'm gonna take my black, put it down. Don't be afraid to work in layers too. Whenever you're having paint and you have dry spaces and it's not the way you want it to be, you can always work in sections. And I'm looking back and forth at the picture as I'm painting because I noticed there's a highlight right here, okay? So there's also a very, very black space right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. And then that's probably all I need for my black. I'm gonna rinse off my paintbrush. I have a half full glass over here, and then I have my little napkin paper towel over there. Now I'm gonna start mixing my colors, and I want a very dark blue for this. And to get a very dark blue, all you need to do, because blue is kind of dark to begin with, is just grab a little bit of blue and a dot of black. You do not need much black to make a dark blue. It is not gonna take much. It is maybe just a tad bit more. But a little bit of black goes a very, very long way. I think that's one of the biggest problems with this assignment people find is that their black is kind of taking over their entire piece when you just want to take your time and work with it slowly, okay? Okay, so I have a little bit of darkness in this bottom piece too, so I'm gonna just take my blue and kind of like get some of those big spaces down. And then I have some darker spaces right here. Like look and see where you can use the color while you have it. Don't just mix a color and then be like, I'm done with this tiny little bitty section. Kind of look and see where those are on your picture so you can kind of go ahead and use them. Actually, I'm gonna make this part of my shadow because it's really dark. And if some people want to do this, and I actually do this whenever I'm painting my pictures, is I will do the background first. And then I will do the object because sometimes you'll end up going over your object with the paint a little bit on accident. And so doing the background first sometimes can be a really good way to be able to control where your paint is going, especially because you notice that I'm like making these little dash marks. And I kind of like that, and I'm gonna lose a little bit of that if I do my background last. So just to let you know, I'm showing you how to do the object, but you can also do the background first. So there's most of my blue. So I'm gonna go ahead, since I would just go ahead and mix more blue into there, maybe a little bit of white, and start working dark to light. So get your darker areas first and then your medium. But I'm gonna kind of show you the light areas now that we've gone to the dark. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of white. I'm just gonna put it down on the paper. This kind of gives me a good base for any light color that I'm gonna put down, especially because it'll go over some really light pencil marks or anything like that that you want to do. And then you can kind of get just a tiny, like just the tip of your paintbrush blue, and that's gonna make a very light blue. And then I'm gonna go over a little bit of that white with it. See what I mean by going over some spaces? So I accidentally did that. You can always go back over it if you need to. So what I'd keep doing, especially because I was telling you about working dark to light or light to dark, is I can add a little bit more blue and make a transition color between this dark blue and this light blue. And I'd get a smaller paintbrush later on and do some of these fine detail works. I'm just showing you how to lay down value in your artwork before you actually start on your piece. So be thinking about that whenever you're working. Be thinking about where your darks and your lights are. Take it a little section at a time. And then what you're gonna get as a final product is a piece that's kind of sectioned off into different values. So you can see here that they had good spaces of light. You want a good high contrast picture if you can, because you're gonna have nice areas of light and then good areas of dark. And this person probably could have gone down with their leg just a little bit, but overall the piece is very cohesive, and there are really nice areas of dark and really nice areas of light. So I'm gonna leave it to you guys. Make sure you go ahead and pick a picture and get your paper and start drawing first. You may spend a day or two drawing because we're gonna spend a while on this, okay? Good luck, guys.